Live from the Scripps Studios, this is 10 News.
San Diego's economy takes a step forward tomorrow as some stores may be able to reopen in some capacity. Good evening, I'm Kimberly Hunt. 10 News reporter Anthony Pura spoke with businesses about excitement and challenges for the big day.
A lot of businesses were hoping that they would be allowed to start letting people into their stores on Friday, but for now, the rules only allow for curbside pickup. Vinyl Junkies Record Shack in South Park is looking to get back on track.
We have bottles of bleach around and have been wiping everything down.
Co-owner Eric Howarth says they were hit hard financially when the pandemic forced them to close, limiting them to mail orders. But on Friday, state and local officials are easing restrictions to allow some businesses to reopen for curbside pickup, and Howarth is ready.
We have this window over here, and we'll just slip the records to them. Or if they want to pull up and we bring the records out to them, we can do that as well.
With many of their customers being locals, he's hoping even a limited reopening will bring some of them back.
Some of the ones that maybe are like, I don't want to pay the extra shipping, don't want to have to wait for the record, that sort of thing.
But this sort of thing doesn't work for every store. Gem and Bead Mall in Kearney Mesa will stay closed Friday. They sell beads, stones, and jewelry making supplies, and reopening is a challenge. Getting sanitation supplies was near impossible.
And everybody's sold out.
Owner Stephanie Wells says thankfully people donated those supplies, but then they found out only curbside pickup would be allowed for now, and that doesn't work when their inventory is so vast.
Somebody can come to me and say they want this type of clasp, but we'll have 10 different kinds. They need to see it to figure out which one they want, and the only way to do that is to come inside.
Howarth says they're taking a cautious approach to reopening. They haven't rehired any of the employees they've let go, but that could happen as more business returns.
It's definitely a welcome advance.
Anthony Pura, 10 News.
The governor says counties wishing to move quicker than the state's reopening process must have no new deaths in the past 14 days. Supervisor Nathan Fletcher said San Diego County is nowhere near achieving this.
That is not currently a criteria that we meet, nor is it likely a criteria that we will meet anytime in the near future. So we will continue to work with the governor's office in the state of California on their criteria.
The county says it hopes to have a plan for more businesses to reopen by next week. The first case of community spread coronavirus in California can be traced back to a nail salon. Today, the governor said it started in Solano County in February. He added that nail technicians usually wear face masks and gloves, yet it was still transmitted due to close proximity. Clearly, not all salons follow those guidelines, and he didn't provide details about this one. Newsom said that is part of the reason why nail salons, spas, and barbershops will not be opening until stage 3. And SDG&E customers on the tiered rate system will get a break on high usage charges. Energy use increased 10 to 20% since the stay-at-home order began, and that is expected to increase with the temperatures. Today, the California Public Utilities Commission cut the rates by $40 to $50 from June to October, and this will affect about 30% of SDG&E customers on the tiered rate system.
At this time, the sheriff should do nothing but trying to be helping people.
The San Diego Sheriff's Office says it will not resume evictions after announcing it would earlier today. The plan was to move forward with evictions that were in place before the COVID-19 pandemic. As 10 News reporter Laura Acevedo shows us, the reversal comes after several elected officials disapproved of the move.
It just shows that, some people are completely detached from reality.
Rafael Bautista is an organizer for the San Diego Tenants Union. Bautista was shocked with the sheriff's decision to resume evictions that were in place before the pandemic.
This is just shows a lack of morality, lack of compassion. It shows that the police, the sheriff's department is just really working in the interest of wealthy people.
Both the state and San Diego have moratoriums in place halting all evictions related to COVID-19 until at least May 31st. On Thursday, the Sheriff's Department announced the decision, saying they would move forward with about 160 evictions already in progress, not related to anyone dealing with hardships related to the pandemic.
It just doesn't make sense. They're going to kick people out to criminalize them on the street when they don't have a shelter.
The move met with heavy criticism, including this letter from Supervisor Nathan Fletcher asking to postpone these evictions.
It's just unbelievable that, the sheriffs made this decision knowing that this could endanger people's lives.
Hours later, the department sent out this statement reversing the decision, saying they had heard from elected officials and although they agreed serving these evictions are perfectly legal, expressed concern about the impact, suspending the evictions until further notice.
It shouldn't take, outrage from the community for them to do the right thing.
Laura Acevedo, 10 News.
A judge approved to delay when former Congressman Duncan Hunter begins his prison sentence. Today, the judge gave Hunter until January 4th to surrender and begin serving his 11-month sentence. Hunter's legal team cited uncertainty from the COVID-19 pandemic as the reason for the delay. Hunter pleaded guilty last year to misusing campaign funds. He was originally scheduled to surrender at the end of this month. More than 75,000 Americans have now died from COVID-19. And as ABC's Marcy Gonzalez reports, President Trump has been tested for the virus once again after a White House military aide tested positive.
The first case of COVID-19 confirmed in the West Wing, one of President Trump's personal military valets who serves him meals in the Oval Office, testing positive.
I've had very little personal contact with this gentleman. Know who he is, good person, but I've had very little contact.
The president saying he and Vice President Pence will now be tested for coronavirus daily instead of weekly, while testing capacity in the rest of the country remains short of where most experts say it needs to be for Americans to safely return to work. Still, some businesses allowed to reopen in 44 states by Friday, as the number of cases keeps rising in nearly half of those states, including Texas.
We're going about the process of slowly opening back up, doing the right strategies to make sure we can open up while at the same time reduce the spread.
A slow return to normal in the sports world too, with the NFL announcing its schedule for the upcoming season. And students now back in the classroom at this small school in Montana, one of the first to reopen since the pandemic began. While at these high schools in California and Washington, seniors forced to settle for drive-through graduation ceremonies.
As we were driving in, I saw my teachers and people I look up to. I was really sad.
As scientists in the U.S. study what they now say are East Coast and West Coast versions of the novel coronavirus, a vaccine study by drug maker Moderna, now FDA approved to advance to phase 2. Its effectiveness will now be tested on 600 healthy Americans.
We need to bring forward every potential vaccine that has the opportunity to help, because time is of the essence.
Marcy Gonzalez, ABC News, Los Angeles.
New developments in the aftermath of a dive boat fire that killed 34 people off the coast of Santa Barbara. The owners want claims by a victim's family member dismissed. They say she has no proof there was no watch person when the fire broke out on September 2nd. Christina Kitasol's claim says the owners failed to have someone on duty while the others slept. The owners say her allegations lack facts to back up the action. The owners are facing more lawsuits claiming they violated Coast Guard regulations by failing to have an overnight watchman. Only 5 crew members survived. And a white father and son accused of fatally shooting a black man jogging in a Georgia neighborhood have been charged with murder. Gregory McMichael and his son Travis were booked into the Glenn County Jail today. The arrests and charges come more than 2 months after Ahmaud Arbery was killed outside Brunswick. The men who pursued him told police they believed Arbery was a burglar.
Ahmaud, most of all, was loved by his family and peers. I mean, Ahmaud didn't deserve to go the way that he went.
An investigation was launched this week after cell phone video surfaced appearing to show the shooting. Cases of people caught trying to illegally cross the U.S. and Mexico border has dropped dramatically. This is for the entire southwest border, not just San Diego. According to numbers from Customs and Border Patrol, the number of people apprehended is half the average this fiscal year. In late March, both the U.S. and Mexico agreed to limit all non-essential travel at the border due to the spread of the coronavirus. We have a 10 News follow-up now to a deadly deputy-involved shooting that happened downtown last Friday. The San Diego Sheriff's Department is reporting the 23-year-old deputy who shot and killed Nicholas Bills has resigned effective yesterday. Bills was arrested by California State Park Rangers for assault with a deadly weapon. He was being taken to the downtown county jail when he escaped. The deputy who fired on Bills was walking to work when he saw the escape and jumped in to help. New tonight, a power outage is affecting hundreds of people in Kearny Mesa. It started just after 9 o'clock tonight. The outage also knocked out some of our competitors at 10 o'clock and 11 p.m. The newscasts of KFMB and CW, as well as KSWB Fox 5. And SDG&E says they hope to restore power by 2:30 a.m.